In this episode of Minecraft Hardcore 100%, I've built 4 different farms for colored dyes inside 2 Japanese buildings. Make sure you watch till the end because the end result turned out pretty epic. Oh yeah, I also built a custom tree. If you liked the builds or felt inspired, please consider subscribing. I'm really trying to get to 1000 subs and I need your help for that. But first, let's continue the cave. Every episode I dig this cave out more and more by hand, no TNT duping, so stay tuned for future episodes to see how gigantic it gets. Today we'll look at how to farm these specific dye colors. The rest of them you can simply get by combining these. Let's start with green dye, which you get from smelting cacti. We need a 9x9 area. Next up, make sure wall is off. For me, I already have 3 of the walls, so let's fill in the 4th one. Find a middle block and remove it. You can find it easily by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dig down 2 blocks. For me, that's going to be instant. And then we're going to dig until we make it outside of the wall. On this block, that is the first one that is outside, place a soul sand. And then in my case, I need to fill these blocks in. Blue ice next to the soul sand. And now we're going to make a proper tube for the waterway. And finally on this block, a top slab. Water source. Right there. Going to flow all the way through here. Put a source of water on all 4 corners. And the water should properly flow down into the tube. Next, place the sand in this pattern. And once done, we can place the cactuses, whichever you prefer, on top of it. We now need to put glass blocks across, 1 block higher than all the cactus. Basically, you want each glass like this, between 2 cactuses. Cacti? Make sure there are no actual glass blocks above each cactus. On top of the glass panels, we can actually continue the shape. Glass panels again. And I actually just noticed that I put the slab in the incorrect position. You want to put it here. It was still working, but it will need to keep the water in that we are going to place in this upwards tube. Build up 4 and then bring the waterway this way by 2 blocks. We're going to place our furnace right here. A barrel next to it diagonally. Hopper running into the furnace from the barrel. Double chest below. And finally hopper into the chest. We need 1 more hopper into the furnace, and now we need to make the water elevator. So place 1 bucket of water here. Once it reaches all the way down, kelp. This will change all the blocks into source blocks. Another water source on this block, and make sure you block off this block. Everything should now be working as intended. All that's left to do is to open this barrel, put in something for fuel. Look at that. Oh, 1 cactus breaks. Comes all the way here, up the elevator, bam, into the furnace. Beautiful. So this is 1 dye farm done with. Now let's build the elusive brown dye farm. This is going to be an AFK farm, but don't worry, it's going to have amazing grades. First off, place any sort of redstone transmitting block 4 high, stick a piston under it, and then a jungle log. Now place dispensers on both sides of the log. I'm going to put a double chest here. Now I've made my job a bit trickier, but run a hopper into the double chest. We need some more redstone signal transmitting blocks. And actually, we're going to replace this one with an observer. I'll need to make some adjustments to this glass wall. We're going to run redstone all the way to the back. But the problem with this setup is that the piston would activate at the same time as the dispensers. So what we need to do is add in a repeater with a 2-tick delay. The last thing that we need is bone meal. We're going to fill up both of these dispensers. And the very last thing we need is 1 single cocoa bean. I place a cocoa bean, the dispensers are going to bone meal it, and if it was wired properly, because these blocks don't transmit redstone signal downwards, and we kind of need that to reach the piston with the redstone signal. It gets bone mealed, and then the piston breaks it, it goes into the hopper, into the chest. I'm going to empty the chest. If I have 10 cocoa beans, let's see if this works properly. And for the 10, we get 30 back. So that means the farm is working properly. Looked a bit bland, so I put a roof on top of it. And there you have a working AFK brown dye farm. And before we can continue, we need to actually put a roof on top of this one. So let's do that. Oh, and by the way, just real quick, are you enjoying the video? If so, a like would be fantastic. Now let's move on with the 3rd farm. Our 3rd farm is going to be for Lilac Sunflower and Peony specifically. But as an added bonus, we're also going to farm some glowberries. To start things off, place a double chest, 3 hoppers pointing into the double chest. Composter on the first one, composter on the third one. Place down a rail with a hopper minecart on top of it, and then carefully braid the rail. Put a block of grass on top of the hopper minecart, temporary block on top of that, block of redstone on top of that. Remove this block and place down a piston. As you can see, the piston has now pushed the block of grass into the hopper minecart. Any building block behind, dispenser facing the block of grass, build up 2 blocks, and 1 more on top of the dispenser. Place in any of the compatible flowers. Let's see what happens if we bone meal such a flower. You can barely see, but a new flower grows, which immediately gets collected and ends up in the chest. So to finish off the front of the build, place a block here and then 2 more blocks to encase the flower, and we're going to seal the top off as well. That's much better. Now we need to activate the dispenser. So when it has bone meal, it's going to automatically dispense it and create some more flowers. Place an upper slab or a full block here. Comparator, temporary block here. Sticky piston on top of that. Make sure it's facing towards the dispenser. Temporary block on top of the observer, and then an observer facing into that. You can remove the block. And as you have heard the tick, this observer is going to be able to power this dispenser. So what happens if we put some bone meal in? As you can see, it dispenses it. And now we have more sunflowers. You can take the sunflowers and easily turn them into yellow dyes. You get 2 for 1, which is a sweet deal. I'm going to build 2 more units and then a unit for glowberries. All that's left to do is a minecart system that is going to deliver bone meal to all these dispensers. So the line is now done. However, there is a slight problem with this contraption. Let me show you. As you can see, the minecart is quite fast. But if you have a longer line of these units, it's not going to gather enough bone meal. But there is a workaround for that. Make sure that this is an activator rail. An activator rail gives a redstone signal whenever there is a minecart touching it. Place a block here and then a block here. Comparator coming out of the activator rail, and then redstone torch coming out of this block, sticky piston facing this way, and then a fence of any kind on top of that. And check out what happens. The minecart can go in, but it cannot come out. This will allow the minecart time to gather up enough bone meal. The minecart gets enough bone meal, so the comparator gets enough signal from that, which then turns off the redstone torch, which releases the minecart. There's one more thing we need to add to this contraption. Place a block here, another here, another comparator here, a lectern here, and now we're going to do something very peculiar. If you put together a book, an ink sac, and a feather, you get a book and quilt. Did you know that lecterns, among many other things, can give off a redstone signal? With lecterns, the signal is going to depend on which page of the book we are on. Let's turn it to page 3 and let's put it on the lectern. As you can see, it now gives off a signal which will cut off this. So this comparator will now need a stronger signal before it lets go of the minecart. The minecart needs to have 21 bone meal before the contraption lets go of it. And that is perfect because with that, you can fill a long line of these same units with bone meal. I hope all this made sense. If not, just try your best to copy it. Time to continue with the build. That was satisfying. Like, seriously, tell me that wasn't satisfying. If you tell me that, well, I'm not believing you. I kind of wanted to do something with the farm build itself. I don't know. It kind of looks like a building inside a building, which is cool. It just kind of looks off. Maybe because that thing is not in the center. The more I look at it, the more I kind of start to like it. Too bad it's going to be hidden inside the other building. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. By the way, this previous farm also works with rose bushes, but I'm planning on getting red dye from elsewhere. Okay, I kind of like that, except this row has stairs, upside down stairs, whereas this one does not. It cannot have because of the building inside a building. I don't know, I might remove these later on, or maybe not because no one can see them. Anyways, with the build, I'm yet again going Japanese style. This building is heavily inspired by Blue Bits, so big shout out to him. I do like that a lot, so I think I'm going to leave the lights like this, but there is something else I want to add. If all this time you've been wondering, why do I need a dye farm? Well, apart from stained glass, colored concrete, and terracotta, I'm kind of obsessed with flats. The last dye that we need is blue dye, but we cannot get that conventionally. For that, you need a flower forest. Now, let me teach you a trick. You would think that in a flower forest, every flower just grows randomly. However, if you take a closer look, you can see that some patterns emerge. Like right over there, you can see that those are all alliums. And these are all like white tulips, I think. And then you have those as well. Straight at this point, if I come here and bone meal this, the only flowers that I get are tulips. If I go here and bone meal this place, the new flowers that I'm going to get are all, what is this? Yeah, allium. Okay, great. Splendid. So that being said, we need to look around for a pattern in which cornflowers grow. So not there. We have a few over there. Yeah, we have a few. But as you can see, the white flowers have a greater concentration here. Definitely not here. Hey, this seems like a nice place. So let's remove this tree for our build. And this one as well. Here's everything you need to build this farm. So now that we have our location, we're going to start by placing a block here and then a dispenser on top of it facing upwards. At this point, my camera kind of died. There we go. I think you can barely even notice a difference. Place a few more blocks down, like so. On top of the dispenser, place a grass block. Go out 1, 2. Another 1, 2 on the other side. And make a 7x5 platform. Go out 2 more on one of the sides. Remove this block and start placing pistons facing inwards. Same thing on the other side, except here you want to go out 3. Remove these 2 blocks and place 5 more pistons. At this point, you might want to encase the farm. Go under the platform and start placing redstone. And then go out 1, 2, 3 on this side. 1, 2 on this side. Go up 1. Do the same on the other side. And go up 1 more on both sides. Bring the redstone all the way. And then place some solid blocks on top of all the pistons. Need to switch these blocks because I have run out of them. That even looks a little bit better. Finish the blocks on all the pistons. Repeater facing downwards here. And another one here. And finally, redstone connecting everything. Now I'm going to add something to light things up. Now with this, the farm is technically done. All that's left to do is to put the lever to its place. So you need to put the lever on this block. You activate it once. And if you click it one more time, the farm will activate. All we need now is some bone meal. This bone block is going to give us 9 stacks of bone meal. Let's see what happens if I load all of that into the dispenser. Let's activate the machine. And I'm happy to report that the farm is working. This is so loud. Oh my god, I'm getting so much stuff. I need to turn the farm off because it's just producing too much stuff and I don't have containers here. And yeah, in case you're new, I never sleep in this world. My plan succeeded. The flower that we get the most of is cornflower, and cornflowers are blue dyes. We also need to build something for this blue dye farm. First, I want to create this cool sort of path. I'm not very good at texturing. I never know if I should use this method or something else, but hopefully it's going to look good. Something is not okay. This looks surprisingly good. Like, I genuinely think this looks good, which should not be possible. I mean, I'll take it, but I don't know. Let me know if you think this looks any good. Next up is the build itself. It needs to be 1 lower than that, which means I should slab up this. Such a pain building downwards. So here we just go with another row of these. And on top of this, slabs. Okay, I think I got it. And with that, the roof is done and I kind of like it. The build is coming along very nicely on the inside. Finally, I have lit things up. I'm still like debating with a couple of style choices, like do I want a window here or do I want something else? And by the way, huge props to Freedom, who is a Japanese Minecraft builder. All of this has been inspired by him. This part of the roof is going to be an interesting piece. Let's see what happens if I do this. Yeah, I think this will be the correct pattern. I think we need to raise these 1 more level. Oh, that really made a difference. I do wonder if I like the door this way. Okay, this is going to be the final design, and I really like it if I do say so myself. And now to complete the look I'm going for, I will need a bunch of signs. This part is tricky, but I think I figured it out. Let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. There's one more thing I want to automate in this farm. I want to go hopper, 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 and just bring a line of hoppers out here. And put a barrel on top here. Let's bring this out a little better. Let's dig these blocks out. Time to do a bit more texturing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this build is indeed finished. Actually, there's two more things I've forgotten. And now we're done. Last but not least, I've decided on building a custom tree. I've never built one before. I did it from start to finish on a live stream here on YouTube, so if you're interested in the thought process and the building process, you can check out the VOD on my channel. I'm planning on doing more live streams in the future, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe with the bell on and you'll be notified when I go live. I'm really pleased with how the final builds have turned out. However, if you have a keen eye, you might have noticed we are missing 2 more dies. Plus, the vicinity of the first build is not decorated properly. All of that is coming in the next episode, which, once done, you can watch here by clicking on the right. This was ZekuVsUNIVERSE Minecraft Hardcore 100%, and I'll see you in the next one.